let's get it. So in this video, I'm gonna show y'all exactly how I spot my zones whenever I'm trading on the chart. All right. So normally you want to start with a top-down analysis. So you're gonna start on a daily. So this chart right here is already formulated, right? So since it already has structure, I can see the waves, right? I can see the market waving. I want to draw in my structure points. So now the easiest way to spot your structure points on the daily will look for the lowest points and the highest points and mark where these doji candles are. All right. So the first one is going to be here. This is my lowest point and it has a doji. This is going to be my structure for my lowest point. Now I'm going to look for the next one. So as I leave this low point, I have to come up and spot the next one, which is here, right? My next one is going to be there. So now I'm going to draw another one here, and then I'm just going to map this across both ways, and I'm going to show my structure points in between this area. Now the market has broken out, retest, and continued. So now I'm gonna find the next one. The next one is here. So we got a third one right here, and that will be all that we have on what's currently being shown on IWM. All right. Now that I have 3 structure points, I want to see how the market moves in between these areas. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop to a lower time frame. So first, let me switch these so I can make sure I can see them on all the time frames. Fix that. Fix that. Fix that. All right, bet. All right, so now when I drop down to the lowest time frames, I can see them. So at the top, let's go ahead and just color this one, and we're gonna make this one right here red. All right, because that is a resistance, because that's the highest. We're gonna make this one down here green, because this is a support, and this one here we're gonna make orange because this is a middle structure in between 2 different levels. All right, so now I have 3 levels mapped out. So I drop down to my 4-hour. I can get a cleaner picture from down here at my 4-hour. Now at the 4-hour, I can see exactly how the market is bouncing on the level. So we got a bounce here, boom, structure, played around the level, fake sold back down, went back above, next one bounce, and then you can see what it's doing. All right. So now if I want to spot entries, all right. So now if I want to spot the entry, I have to follow the structure. So it's multiple things you can do here. If you see the market bouncing like this and making these little waves, first thing you can do is come over here and you can grab your channel tool and you can easily just draw a channel across the top part of the structure to the bottom like that, right? Because now I can see even on these levels how the channel is moving price up to a higher point, right? So if I'm looking at this and I don't believe it's going to push out so soon because I see it's at resistance, I would just think it's coming back to the bottom of the channel, right? So that's how I would just kind of eyeball it, right? If I'm eyeballing the test and I'm like, man, I got to figure out what the trader's going to do next, that's what I'm going to do. So let me go to my next tool. Where's my paintbrush tool? I think it's in here. No, it's in here. Paintbrush tool. What's happening is market came here, came down, came here, came down, came here, came down, went up here like this, and broke that structure, right? So you see this right here, this kind of like a little straight move, and we broke right here. So I'm pretty sure they're going to do this and come down, right? And then from there, since the trend is up, I want to go back that way, right? Because I'm following the channel. So let's just look and see what happens. There is nowhere to go. This is the new week, but like I said, we have this small little trend right here, and you can see it broke this little trend inside of here. It broke it. Now I'm imagining it's going to retest, come to the bottom of this, and then move up, because this is what price is already doing. Price is already following this trend right here as price is moving through this channel, right? So you want to follow the same move. Like, you don't want to make up your own moves. So now if I was to draw lines, I could see break here, pull back. If I draw a line here, break here, pull back. If I draw a line here, there's a break there, pull back. Now I draw this line here, And when you see it break the structure, you can see what it's doing. Pull back to the 50%. So now this next line is there. There's the break. So what's expected is a pullback, right? And then I'm looking for that move there. And I'm looking at these in the background, this red, this orange, and this green as my levels of my structure, all right? So this is what you want to do. This is how you want to follow it. And this is how you want to be able to map out your levels and see what's going on. Now, me personally, I don't stick to just using the trend like this. So why I use the software is so I can see these same moves, but with a more cleaner picture, all right? So now if I'm looking at this, I can see my levels. Remember, these background boxes are the daily levels. This right here is my trend, right? This is my channel showing me which way price is going. Now I'm going to turn the software on and I'm going to look at this. So now I look at this on the 5 minutes. All I'm looking for are these cross right here at the levels. So this cross here indicates buy. We got to this level, right? Across here would mean we're selling down, but if the trend is up, I'm only looking for buys, right? So I'm not looking to take that one. I would take this. I see this one get trapped in here, pulls back. I would look for this as an entry, pulls back. I would look for this as an entry, right? Pulls back. I would look for this as an entry. This right here is 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 an entry, right? I'm only going to look for the entries that show me momentum is going in the way that I want. And I'm looking at each one of these, right? If it doesn't align, then I'm personally not taking a trade. So now if I'm looking at this from this end, I can see right here, we have a cross to the downside because I'm following momentum. So while I follow the momentum, I'm gonna just be like, all right, price is pulling back, right? It's gonna be pulling back into this direction here. So when this cross happens again, right? This yellow over blue, this area right here, when that cross happens again somewhere in this area here, or even way down here, right? Because it can come down here, it can snap this and just do a hard retest and come back down here. But if I see this cross right here, this yellow over the blue, and any one of these areas, I'm looking for an entry to take my buy because I'm just following my trend, right? I'm just following my trend. My trend is this blue and this orange line, right? This blue and orange line tell me that the trend is up. So as long as the trend is up, I just want to take trades that match the trend. All right, so that's one good one right there. That's a good trade, even though it pulled back on you. This is a good trade. Like every trade is not going to be spot on, right? You got to understand that. It's not about taking every trade and it being right. It's about just taking the right trades on the right trend. So this would be the next one. And we take those and then we take all of these, right? These are all the positions that we're looking for. But these are just our key areas. Now, in your mind, you have to be like, okay, I got my structure built. That's this top, that's this bottom. Because this is just smaller time frame talk, right? So in your mind, you gotta be thinking as far as the big time frame goes, I need price to close up here in this area, right? For a buy, or I need price to close down here in this area for it to go into a real sell. Because when I come to my daily, those are my actual structure points. So on the daily, the trend is up. It's a strong bullish trend. So we're only looking for buys, right? We're only looking for buys, but we just want to find good opportunities. Now, how we find them is, like I said, spot our dojis so we can figure out where our levels are from the daily, because you don't really have to look for 2 candles on the daily. You just look for your doji. And then if you come to the 4 hour, that's where you need like the opposite candles, like the one buying, one selling, that creates structure. One selling, one buying, that creates structure. Selling, buying, that's a sign of structure, right? So you can do it that way. But that's all you really have to do whenever you want to identify these moves or just anything in general, right? You want to make sure that you're using the right stuff so that you could delete. Now I want to delete all draws so that you can be able to spot exactly what's going on whenever you're on the chart. All right, that's basically what I'm explaining. So just understand that these are how you spot your structure points. You want to build the structure out. Once the structure is built, you can put this channel here if you want to just see how it's trending and how it's waving. The channels always work, right? But you don't have to. You can literally just go off of the levels. So those are your levels. Now, as you go into smaller time frames, it's just more details, right? So what you always looking for are these cross at these levels, right? At this level, we got a buy cross here. I want to buy it. It gets a little consolidated right there. That sign of a cross there, I want to buy it. Now down here, it's technically still buying on the 1 hour time frame, right? But it's under the pressure line. So for me, that means it's pulling back. So now that it's pulling back, I'm just waiting for a price to get back above this yellow line if I'm on the 1 hour. But I like to come down here to the detail side, the 15 minutes. So if I'm looking at the 15 minute, what do I see? Most recently, I see a cross to the downside. That's telling me, okay, I might want to take IWM, but I have to wait because my trend is bullish. This cross tells me it's about to pull back. So I will be anticipating it pulling back from this zone, right, to this zone. And if we get down here and we don't cross back up, guess what? I'm going to think that it's coming to this zone because these are my structure points on my daily time frame. All right. Now, if I come down to the 5 minute, it's the same thing. So I have the cross back here. I don't want to see a bearish cross and a bearish zone on a bullish move, right? Because this is a sign that once this happened right here, that the market was going to go into a pullback. So technically it's still into a pullback and you should be targeting this previous level if you are a counter trend trader. I don't counter trend, I just stay on trend. So I look for these opportunities right here because these are safer trades for you to take. All right. So, and you can do this on any pair, any asset, anything you want to go to. I can go to NVIDIA. I can do any pair I want, right? I can just come first. I start on my daily, go to my daily. I want to zoom out so I can see where my structure points are. And I want to look for dojis. Doji here, right? Put my box in. Wham, doji there. I want to look for a doji here at the bottom point. We got a doji right here. Wham. As you can see, it's breaking under that doji there. And then this isn't a doji, so I have to find something in this exact area this way that's a doji. All right. So the doji is here. This is the one I'm looking for. All right. But I might take this one. I'm gonna put in both of these. This one looks a little better, so I'm gonna put in both of these because these are two strong levels, right? I'm gonna bring these both across all the way over. I know I could have just extended it to the right, but I want y'all to be able to see how it's reacting to the levels as I'm dragging it. All right. So these are all my levels of interest right here. And this is where I understand the market can go. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4 levels of interest. All right. Now with this being the lowest point of this little move here, because this low set this high, I'm really locked in on this level and this level. So this becomes my support. And this becomes my resistance. All right. Now I have my support and my resistance locked in. I will drop down to the 15 minute or 4 hour first. I will go to the 4 hours, see what I see, just see if I like anything, see if anything changed, like this crossing down to the downside, letting me know I have to wait or whatever. Then I come down to my 15 minute. And then on the 15 minute, I can definitely see that it's just not time to take the buy on NVIDIA because it's crossed down, moving down. We're at a structure point, and guess what? The next one isn't until down here at 180. But that doesn't mean it's going to go to 180. All right, that doesn't mean it's going to go there. Why? Because on the daily, the trend is up. Right, the trend is up on the daily. So don't get confused when you start going to these lower time frames and seeing trend changes. No, just understand where you are. Understand that you're at a structure point. Right, you're at a structure point, and you want to see your price is going to turn around. If it turns around at this structure point and you get a cross back up, it's going to buy back up here. The buys are stronger than the sells. These are small time frame reversal signals. So for a lot of new traders who don't really know what's going on, they get confused because they drop down to these lower time frames and they start to see these reversals and think that, oh, it's reversing. No, remember what your higher time frame said, right? My higher time frame says it's in a strong buy. This is just a pullback, all right? So we're going to focus on that, all right? We're going to focus on that. Then I come down here to the 5 minute. And now on the 5 minute, I would just be looking for those same exact plays, right? I'm looking for these buys here, buy there, buy there, buy here. If we get a buy here, I'm looking to take a buy there, buy there. I'm looking to take a buy here, right? And I'm looking to definitely take any buys that's in these zones that cross. So if we cross like in this zone, this is a great entry for a push, right? So if we come down, if we were to come down to this zone here and have this bullish cross up, this would be a great push, right? If we come to this green zone and have a cross up, this would be a great push right there in that area, right? And that's how you want to see it. So now if you come back to here, you can see crossing the green, push, crossing this orange, push, right? Crossing this orange, push, crossing this orange again, push, right? But now that time has passed, you can see very, very strong levels, all right? So I can see all the levels that I need to see. And now if I drop the lower time frames, I can just stay fixated on these levels and understand where price is at. All right, so technically we're at the bottom of a level because this box is the actual boxed up doji, right? We're under the level doing a retest, so it could continue here. But remember, if it does, we just watch it and we look for that cross up. And anytime that cross up happens, you technically take the trade because at any moment it can just push up because our daily is in such a strong uptrend, right? This is just a pullback, right? This is a pullback. So if I do what I did on my other one and I show you how to draw that channel there, right? And I draw that channel from here to here, this is the channel technically, right? So if I drop down to the lower time frame, you can see we bottom, top, top, bottom, top, bottom. So technically it's moving up, right? It's moving up from this area. And if it wants to pull back a little more, it could. And then from here, if you look and see, we just want to see a cross, right? No cross, no entry, right? We just kind of sit back because it's pulling back. We can see that it's pulling back. So all we want is the lower time frames to match what our higher time frame says. So for instance, if you was back here at this point, if I was to replay this, if you were back here at this point here, you would have been like, okay, NVIDIA's pulling back, right? And then the moment this happens on your time frame, this is where you're like, okay, now it's time to buy. So now at this point, you're just like, I'm going long and I'm targeting this high over here, right? That's the high. I'm targeting that high. So that's before this structure point came. You're targeting this high over here. So as you go through, you just push through, you watch your trade, just start getting to the money, and then boom, guess what? You hit your TP at this high, right? So now if I zoom in, I can see, all right, I had the cross, I had the break, and then we came to go higher than here, and we did. We broke that, and now at this point, anything can happen because we just broke a high. So after you break a high, normally a retest happens. So guess what? I'm gonna be looking for a pullback from here, or I can continue holding for somebody that swings trades, right? So if I just play this through, it keeps going, right? So you have two options when this happens. You can hold as long as your trend holds, right? We have the cross here, so you technically can hold unless it crosses back down. So you can basically just keep holding this trade until it crosses back down, and then you can get out whenever that change of trend happens. So for instance, you would still be in profit there, keep holding, keep holding, keep holding, and then right there, I'm getting out, all right? So technically right here is where you can take your exit. You could have took an exit up here depending on how much profit you had, how much came across your screen, and however your liking was, or you can just take your exit right here, right? Once you have the reversal cross. Now, what I would do at this point is I will wait for another cross back up, and then I will re-enter my next position. So right here, technically, we have the cross. I have to go back a little bit. Right there, we technically have the cross there. As soon as I see that cross, I'm hitting the button. So I'm hitting it here, and now my next target is this high, right? That's what I would do. I would target that high and that point, and then I would just hold, and then right here, it will end up crossing out right there, and then this trade will be closed negative. Depending on who you were, or if you put your stop at break even. That's the part I forgot to mention. Typically, you put your stop at break even. So this trade would have got stopped out break even because it turned around on us, right? So that's another thing you can do to protect your profits. Let me not forget, use a break even stop once the market is already taken off, right? And now we have a cross back to the downside again. So what do you think I'm going to do now? Now I'm just going to wait because it's technically in a pullback. I don't want to enter trades when they're in a pullback. I want confirmation trades. And as long as it's confirmed and going on the trend that I'm looking for, it saves me from getting caught up in the wrong trade. So as you can see, we had one banger trade there. And then here we would have had a break even trade. Then it's going to pull back. But remember, the trend is up. So guess what? Once we get the next cross, all I'm going to do is wait on my next cross on my 1 hour and then look for the next banger because it's going to be targeting up there now. And then I'm going to do that, target, put my stop wherever, and then I'm going to let it pay through. And I'm for sure it's going to come and take this high out, right? Because we didn't take it out last time. So that's how you're going to spot your trades, and that's how you're going to spot your entries. Now, which is best? It's ultimately up to you, right? You can use that in the 5 minute, the 1 hour, the 15 minute. It just depends on whatever type of stress factor you have, right? Like how much can you hold? Like how long can you hold, right? I'm a swing trader, so I look to hold on hour, 4 hour, right? I look for a 4 hour play. So like right here, technically, it's like I seen on the lower time frame it's already in a pullback, so I would just be waiting on this to give me a fresh cross, right? I want this to cross down and then cross back up on the 4 hour. But I will also look here on the hour sometime to spot my entry. So if I go over to Apple, same thing here. Apple just came here. This gave us a fresh cross. The trend is up. Technically, the target is up there. So at 17, I'm pretty sure this is something you can already just get straight in. But I will wait for a retest, right? We don't have any retest yet. We have a breakout, cross, no retest. So I want to wait till we retest this little cluster right here. I will put my entry right here. And then I will just target this high here. So that's the play that I would look for on Apple because we got the cross. Now I just wanted to pull back some because we had a strong breakout. So pull back to this entry here where we broke out from. Once we have that retest, then I want to cross and target this high over here. And then if I go to the daily, I'm pretty sure the boxes would align. So right there is a doji. It didn't even take long to spot it, right? I see the doji here. If I draw this across, so I know it's breaking above a level, right? It's breaking above a level. Doji there, right? There's the doji here on the daily. So it's hitting the doji right now. Well, not necessarily. Let me actually put that right on point. Oh, it already tapped it. So it basically already tapped the doji right there. So I wouldn't be surprised if it pulled back to this one down here. I wouldn't be surprised if we just pull straight back on this next day. And then my next doji is here. Because I always want to draw 3 points when I'm on a daily. When I'm on a daily, I'm going to always draw 3 points. And then we're going to make this one green. Make this one orange. That's my middle zone. And those are my 3 levels of structure right there. So now, if I want to play the 1 hour, I will play the 1 hour. If I want to play a different time frame, I would play that time frame, whether it's the 15 minute, whether it's the 5 minute or whatever, right? I'm just waiting on that to happen. So I'm pretty sure, like I said, this will turn around and come back down here to this area, close to this zone down here. And then from there, I will be targeting the high. That's the way I would play Apple if I was looking at this as a trade for me coming up this week. So now, if I go over to a futures trade, same exact thing. All right, I can't use this one because I already got gold marked up all crazy. All right, and I want y'all to get confused. So let's just hop over to this clean gold. All right, so same thing. Go here. Let me remove all the drawings. Remove all the drawings. And then I want to spot my plays. All right, so right here, doji came the other day. I kind of knew this pullback was coming once I seen that doji. So that's my doji there. That is technically my low. I want to spot one up here. This is technically a doji there, so I have to draw that one in. I can't skip any. This is technically the level right there, so that's level number 2. right? So I got a 1, I got a 2, and now I just need a 3. So 3, I need a doji up here in this area. I don't see one. Oh, it's right here. That doji right there would be my 3. All right, right there will be the 3. And then I would just draw this one across. All right, and now here, paint him red. Over here, paint him green. Boom. Now I'm locked in. I have 3 levels of interest. They're on my chart. I can figure out exactly where price is. All right, now this is different. Gold is in a pullback. The trend is up, but this cross right here to the downside means it's in a pullback. So I got to look for pullback plays. But I can't be surprised if we have strong buys because the trend is actually a buy, right? So I can't fall in love with the pullback. But currently on my daily, it's telling me it's in a pullback, so I have to watch for continuations down. All right, hop on to my 4-hour, right? Your initial entry would have been there. That would have been your pullback. All right, so now we come down to the 1 hour. On 1 hour, has an opposite thing. So now this is the pullback for what's next, right? So if I want a continuation down, I need to be looking for down crosses on this 1 hour, right? If I see that down cross because of the pullback, I know that the sell is coming. Otherwise, I got to let it keep pulling back, right? If I go to the 15-minute, same thing. So 15-minute, technically, the price is pushing up, so we have to push up. We're at a zone. Unless we get a cross back to the downside, I do not see it's coming back down here, right? But we need a cross from this zone right here, blue, yellow cross. That's the entry for the sale back down here. No cross, we'll just let it continue till we get up here. And then we look for a cross in the next zone, which is up here, right? Because if the market moves up there, it's not going to change the fact that this is in a strong pullback, right? Even pushing all the way up here will not flip these two, this blue and this yellow. It's not going to flip it into a buy. So since that's not going to happen, I have to understand that right here on the 1 hour, this is just a pullback, and I'm waiting for the cross back to the downside to catch the down play. All right, US 30. Do one more pair for y'all before I wrap this up. All right, US 30, same exact thing. Go to my daily. Looking for dojis. All right, I'm only looking for dojis. Like, this is cool too. This is a shooting star. This is a sign that a sell is coming. But I gotta lock in on a doji. Right. So doji here. That's the doji. Doji is a counter that looks like it's a tug of war. It don't show whether the buyers won the war or the sellers won. Right. So this is my high point. All right. So we just broke out with a strong breakout. So for sure, it's coming back to there. All right. Now I want to find the next doji in this area. Here's my next one right here in the middle. Bang him in. Bang, bang. Now this is my middle level. And then we're going to put a orange guy over him. And then we're going to find one in this region down here. All right. So over here, it would be technically this one, right? This little one right here. This would be the next level right there. This doji there. And then we will go over. And as you can see, these are the levels that I will focus on, right? Now I'll make this one. I'll make this one here green, painting green. Make this one here red, painting red. All right. Now I got my 3 levels locked in. You can see back here at this level, we got a break, retest, fake out, pull back, break, retest, 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 finally break out, create this level here, choppy, choppy, break, retest, pull back, choppy, choppy, whatever, right? So these are my levels. So now I have my 3 levels marked up on my daily. Now I can drop to any time frame and I can always follow price. All right, so technically right now we just broke out of a level. I wouldn't be surprised, like I said, if we came back to this level and filled this in. I wouldn't even be surprised if we came all the way back to this level, right? And kind of filled this little space in right there, right? So pullback can happen from here, right? And then I'll go to my 1 hour. and I'm only looking for these cross, right? So cross here, nice play, cross here, nice play, cross here, nice play, right? So that's really how simple it is if you want to draw your own levels in and you want to just track price. Because the main thing that you want to do is just monitor price and follow price to where it's going by understanding where the levels are. But right now we just broke out of a level, so we don't have a level created, but we do have a strong reversal signal right here, which is it's called a shooting star. That's when price shoots up, come back and close exactly where it's at. So I can actually draw this as a level of interest, right? This would definitely be a level of interest. But I'm gonna turn this a different color red. Because it's not like my main level, right? It's not a doji. Like if it was a doji, I would say it's like my main level, but this is just a level of interest, right? So we're gonna put that there just to show that's the top, but that's my main level of interest. Now, knowing that we're in this reversal zone up here, right? We're in this rejection zone. The only way I would be able to spot a trade on US 30, I would have to go down to the 5 minute for this, right? And now from here, I would just look for a cross to the downside if I was selling. If I was selling, I would look for a cross here to the downside, boom, and then I'm going to target this level down here. So assuming that this yellow crosses this blue here, I would then take a sell and target this zone down here, right? Because this is the previous zone. Anything inside of here don't matter. This is a travel through space. Now I want to see it get back to this previous zone. So if this cross to the downside, for sure I would think that it's coming here, right? And then if we stay crossed as we get here and we continue pushing down, I'm going to think it's coming here. But if we hit this region and we have this cross right here to the upside, I'm buying, right? Because the trend is up. I'm looking for buys anyway. So I would want to see it come down here, flip back into a buy, and then target the highs. Same thing that happens over here. Buy, target the highs. Here, buy. There's a lot of little choppiness right there. Here, buy, 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 right? But I like to take those plays, like I said, coming from inside of zones, right? So if I'm in the zone, I want to see a cross, a change of structure, and then a push. So for instance, up here, we went up here, we swiped this high, then it crossed to the downside. That was a sign that we were coming back to this zone, right? And then if it don't make it down there, I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. You have to understand that the market is going to sometimes stop and pivot and get back on trend. This is why I'm not a counter trend trader. So I will wait for this to make its move, whether or not it's going to pull it back or not. Pull it back, I get a cross to the upside, I'm getting in and I'm taking it, targeting the next level high. So that's the way that you spot the structure. That's the way that you mark it up. But that's the way that I mark it up. And that's the way I would look for entries on these plays. Now, whether if I'm looking for a bigger play, like I said, I'm looking on it on an hourly for hourly cross, right? Or if I'm looking on like some intraday stuff, I'm probably looking at the 5 minute or the 15 minute, right? I'm kind of checking those two to confirm my trades and confirm my levels, right? If it don't happen on one of those two levels intraday, I would say maybe not, but that's what I'm looking for. But my swings, I'm definitely just looking for it on the 4 hour, and you just keep it that simple. And you can see it's the same on every pair, every chart. Doesn't matter which one you trade in, whether it's options, whether it's stocks, whether it's QQQ, wherever it's at, right? It can be anything. Like right here, I have two zones marked up. I have a low and I have a high, right? So I have my two zones marked up right here. I'm just looking for either a break to the low side or a break to the high side. Now, if I come on here and I come to the 15, I can see right here on QQQ. Let me just go back over here. Let me just draw two more. Let me just redraw these levels real fast. Boom. Because they ain't going to show on my lower time frames. Boom. Go ahead and just make this green real fast. And then go on my lower time frame, 15 minute, right? So 15 minute QQQ, I can see we're coming from a sell zone, cross to the downside. It's no trade for me right now. All I'm doing is I'm just waiting for this to cross back up, then I can get in. All right, if I don't want to wait for it on the 15, I drop to the 5. Also, if I look at the 5, still cross down. No trade for me right now, right? So until this crosses back up, I kind of have to sit on my hands. I got to sit back. I got to wait for the market to set up. Once the market tell me it's time to go, like here, I'm looking to catch those plays. So it's very, very simple how you can take these trades and you can map them out. But you just need a system and you need to just follow that system. Like, and I always tell people, it doesn't have to be my system. I'm not one of them people that tell you you have to use what I'm using. I just show you this is what I use and this is how simple it is and that it works, right? And this is how you would do it if you were just marking up your own levels and not actually using the system to mark up your levels, because you don't even have to do this. You could remove all the drawings and then you can come on here and then you can turn on the action zones and it's the same thing, right? So if I come to the action zones and then I turn this on stocks, um, stocks, boom, bam, I'm waiting for price to come inside of these zones. All right, so it needs to turn around in this zone, whether it's on the bottom half or the top half, or it needs to come to the sell zone and show me a reversal, anything like that, right? That's all I'm looking for. And I would just follow it zone to zone. So this just shows me exactly where the zone is. So if I leave this sell zone, cross to the downside, I'm targeting the buy zone. When I get into the buy zone, I'm just looking for that cross coming out of the buy zone to just buy it up, right? I'm pretty sure if I take this back a week or two back here, price came right into the buy zone. It's like bar back here. This is more likely in the buy zone. See, right? So price came down here back when it was down here. I waited on this cross here. I will wait on this cross and the strong support or the buy zone at that cross. I'm buying it, targeting those levels up there. So you could have got in just right here because you got a fresh cross, and you could have targeted any one of these. You could target the sell zone here for target one. You can target two, top of the sell zone there, target two. You can go target three, all the way up here, target three, and then you can go target four, maxing him all the way out, all the way to the top. This automatically does it for you, and then you just hit play. And as we see, when that cross happens, because the trend is up on the higher time frame, we just watch it go through our levels, right? So, boom, it gapped up, and it would have took us all the way up to TP4. Right, so if you have 4 positions right there, you would have maxed all the way out and hit all the TPs, and these levels would have already been there, right? And as you come to the next week, the levels change every week, right? So these are your new weekly levels here. And at this point, it's either you're still holding or you're waiting on reactions at the zones, right? So if I let this week play out, boom, it came down to my buy zone, right? I'm waiting on a cross back up. If I get a cross back up, that's the buy entry, right? Because it crossed down, so right, it's pulling back. Right here, that's my buy entry there. So now, coming out of that buy zone, targeting that sell zone, right? I can target sell zone. Well, I got to go level to level, so that's trade one, right? Let me zoom in so you can see it. We got our cross. This is trade one right here to this line. I'm just targeting these lines, right? Trade two right there. Trade three. And so on, right? I ain't about to write all these again, but and so on and so on. And then if you, oh man, what was that? I think I was doing QQQ. Yeah, all right, right there. So then that was my entry. That's the first trade. Got close right there, TP1, TP2, 2 weeks in a row. That's 2 trades that just hit TP, and I'm out on both of those, right? Now, if we get another cross here, we got the cross there, but they gapped us down. They would have stopped you out on that last one. But these first 2 were bangers, right? That was a good trade 1, good trade 2. And then this right here, that's when they did the pullback. So now technically what you're doing now is you're waiting for the next entry. Now over here, as you can see, on the next set of lines, you're already down here in the buy zone, right? So you're waiting. Like, I'm not touching this trade. It doesn't show me what I want to see, right? I need a cross. And then when I get that cross right there, now I can take my entry. So now I want to take entries here, targeting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different levels, right? All the way through there. And then you can just take that entry there, stopped out. That's fine. That's one loss, right? We don't complain. It's not perfect, right? You're going to lose some trades. And now you just wait on the next entry. Right there is the next one. Kind of right back in the same exact area with the same exact target points. So you would have lost that trade. You would have made it back right there and probably more, right? And a lot more, right? So you would have just made it right back. You'd have took one loss, but then this next trade, you would have just made it right back, right? So that's basically what you're doing. Now, if you have a cross to the opposite way, which is here, right? This is where I would take my exit on this position. Now I'm out right there and I'm done with that trade because we have a cross in the opposite direction, right? And I'm just waiting on the next cross for my next entry, right? If I don't get a cross, I don't take an entry, I allow the market to pull back, and they can pull back as long as it wants, right? But then once it get back on trend, then I'll take my next trade. And it's as simple as that. So hopefully that helps you guys out. Hopefully this shows you exactly what to look for. And hopefully you understand how to take your entries using the software. And remember, I did this on the 5 minutes. So 5 minute, 1 hour, whatever. It doesn't matter what you trade. This is what you're looking for. This is how you identify your trades. And this is basically how you're going to stay on the right side of the market.